Monday, 9 a.m. And now the most important and up-to-date news at this hour from the TSN team. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell, leave your comments, and let's get started. One person has died and 3 more were pulled out from under the rubble. Ivano rescuers in the Sumy region. The Russians struck the Trostianets community with drones, targeting residential areas. The wounded are receiving the necessary assistance, according to the head of the Sumy Regional Military Administration. A rescue operation is ongoing at the site of the strike. In Mykolaiv, last night's drone attack caused damage to civilian infrastructure. In Dnipro, a 37-year-old man was injured. As a result of a Russian missile strike, an enterprise was damaged. A fire broke out there, but it has already been extinguished. Last night, the Russians attacked the eastern, northern, and southern regions of Ukraine with drones and missiles. One man was killed as a result of the shelling of Pavlograd in the Dnipropetrovsk region. 3 more people were injured, including an 8-year-old girl. A large fire broke out in the city. A business, an apartment building, and a car were partially destroyed. In the Nikopol district, the Russians attacked with drones and artillery, injuring an elderly man. They damaged a sports school, a post office, 5 private houses, and vehicles. In Kherson, 7 people were injured. 6 civilians were hurt in different parts of the city as a result of Russian artillery attacks. Another man was injured by a drone strike. All of them suffered blast injuries and shrapnel wounds. In Kherson, private homes were on fire, apartment buildings were damaged, and a hospital and vehicles were hit. 4 explosions occurred last night in the Zaporizhzhia district. At this time, there is no information about any casualties. Zaporizhzhia is still recovering from the previous powerful strike when the Russians attacked the city with multiple rocket launchers. 3 people were injured. More about the aftermath. TSN correspondent Daria Nazarova will tell us more.
Left without windows or a roof over their heads. These are the consequences of the nighttime shelling of Zaporizhzhia in the private sector. The occupiers fired using MLRS. As we can see, Russian shrapnel has ravaged the entire street. There isn't a single intact window left in the nearby houses. A huge crater left by a Russian missile.
The explosions in the city rang out at 2 o'clock in the morning. At that time, Mr. Mikhailo says he and his family were fast asleep. After the first strike, he grabbed his wife and son, and they ran to hide.
The child was very frightened that night. It was just a pillar of dust and smoke. We jumped up, grabbed the child in our arms, and went down to the basement. He did well, he held on, but he was very scared. Maybe we'll need to talk to someone about it because he got really frightened.
Now Mikhailo is putting the house in order and planning to take his family to a safer place. In the
house, all the windows were blown out. All the doors were blown out, the roof is gone. Everything is destroyed. We will move in with relatives because it's impossible to live there now.
The neighboring house also withstood the attack. However, now the dwelling is without windows or doors. Only cracked walls remain.
The roof here is completely destroyed. The summer kitchen doors and windows were blown out. There's no door in the rail car. Come in, take a look. It was falling off in pieces. I already knocked some of it down myself. And in this room too. The ceiling in the corners, I don't know how one can live in it.
As a result of the attack, 3 people were injured. The oldest is 91 years old. According to Hannah, the victim's granddaughter, she has already taken the elderly man to relatives. Grandpa still can't recover after that night.
He has cuts on his leg. We bandaged everything ourselves, but he was so frightened. He still can't really understand what happened.
The enemy shelling left 58,000 residents of Zaporizhzhia without electricity. Currently, energy workers are carrying out repair and restoration work. Daria Nazarova, Andriy Hupovka, Zaporizhzhia, TSN 1+1. I won't give tomahawks, but that's not final. Donald Trump has made a new statement about long-range missiles for Ukraine. While speaking with journalists in Washington, Trump was asked whether his administration plans to provide Tomahawk missiles to Kyiv. No, at least not right now. The US president replied, but added that he might change his decision. Earlier, CNN reported that the Pentagon had given the White House approval to supply them to Ukraine. Tomahawk missiles, noting that this would not harm American weapon stockpiles, but the political decision remains with Trump. 2 North Korean soldiers who were taken prisoner during the fighting in Ukraine said that they would like to escape to South Korea. This was reported by the French publication Le Monde. Last year, more than 10,000 North Korean soldiers were sent to Russia, mainly to the Kursk region, to fight against Ukraine. This January, Ukrainian soldiers captured 2 North Korean soldiers. In a recent interview for a documentary film, the prisoners stated that they want a normal life in South Korea. The Constitution of South Korea stipulates that all Koreans, including those from the north, are full citizens. This rule also applies to prisoners of war in Ukraine. However, North Korean soldiers have orders from the authoritarian regime to commit suicide in order to avoid capture. A high-profile case about a traffic accident in Carpathian. The Ivano-Frankivsk prosecutor's office has notified a judge of suspicion after she hit people at a pedestrian crossing. The incident occurred on Friday in the village of Fraga on the Mukachevo-Lviv highway. A judge from the Peditsy court in Ternopil region driving her Lexus did not slow down before the crosswalk where people were crossing. One of the pedestrians died at the scene and another sustained bodily injuries. The High Council of Justice is currently considering a motion to allow the suspect to be taken into custody. The extension of the validity period of foreign passports has been cancelled, and the inclusion of information about children in their parents' documents has also been discontinued. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced this and explained the new rules. Until now, there was an exceptional procedure introduced at the start of the full-scale invasion to allow Ukrainians the opportunity to escape and go abroad. At that time, there were difficulties with the passport system, but now there are none. You can obtain new biometric passports both at embassies and consulates, as well as at branches of passport service centers abroad. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs explains that Ukraine must return to international standards because most countries in the world do not recognize passports with an extended validity period or without a separate document for a child. This creates problems when crossing borders. Therefore, Ukrainians whose passports are expiring now have to obtain a new biometric one. For those currently living abroad, the agency reminded them, Ukraine allows everyone to have 2 foreign passports. You are watching TSN and everything you need to know at this hour. Just a reminder, to make sure you don't miss anything, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. Well, I'll continue with the news broadcast. A new sport that is gaining popularity around the world. It's a mix of squash, tennis, and table tennis. Many celebrities have already fallen in love with padel, from Cristiano Ronaldo and Antonio Banderas to members of the British royal family. Where in Ukraine can you play padel and what makes it so appealing? Millions of fans, as reported by TSN correspondent Yevgeny Hladun.
A sport that millions of people around the world are passionate about. And now Ukrainians are starting to master it. Padel moved from Mexico to Spain and then spread even further. Now it is becoming popular among those who once dreamed of playing tennis. But for various reasons, they couldn't afford this hobby. It has existed for only half a century, yet it is already being called the sport that is gaining the most fans and new players, leaving basketball, hockey, and even football behind. The reason is simple. It has taken all the most interesting aspects from racket sports. If we talk about accessibility, this pleasure is not among the cheapest. But unlike tennis, the rules and technique are simpler, and the court is smaller.
In the summer, we were thinking about what we would do during the cold season.
Diana and Nadia are having their first paddle training session. In the summer, they mastered wakeboarding, and now they're looking for an interesting winter hobby.
So our choice came down to either tennis, squash, or paddle. Tennis is still a bit more difficult, so we chose this kind of training session.
They work in the IT field. So, they say that after sitting at work, they need some physical activity to unwind.
It's great cardio, and secondly, it's fun, and you can really have a good time with friends.
We liked it, and honestly, we started getting the hang of it almost right away.
We're already signed up for next Saturday. Again?
We'll come.
It's a game that hooks you from the very first training, says a representative of the Padel Federation of Ukraine. One of the reasons, according to Olesha, is its accessibility for beginners without any sports experience.
The percentage of people who come back is actually very high. About 80% return again and again. You can get into the game quite quickly, learn the basic techniques, serves and ball handling, without having to master detailed or very complicated technical aspects.
From tennis, it has borrowed the court layout and the main rules. From squash, it has the ability to play off the walls. The racket is kind of like a ping-pong paddle, but a bit bigger.
This racket doesn't have a stringed surface like in tennis, nor does it have the rubber coverings like in table tennis that allow you to put spin on the ball and make different types of spin shots. That's why our racket is special. It's more suited for flat shots.
Coach Yevhen explains the rules and then invites me to a training session.
We hold the racket more like a hammer grip. The technique is, of course, different from regular tennis.
David Beckham, Shakira, and Lionel Messi. They all already play padel. Now I'll give it a try too. I hope my tennis experience will help me at least a little.
Step onto your foot so that we transfer our weight during the swing.
First we practice straight shots.
Good job, well done, yeah.
Then from the glass. And this element turned out to be not so simple. But despite unsuccessful attempts, I can confirm this. You start to feel the enjoyment of the game from the very first hits. The word that best describes padel is dynamics. It's everywhere here. In moving around the court, in the speed of the shots, and especially in the thinking. After all, you have to think constantly. Where should you run? And how should you hit correctly? Straight or maybe off the glass? Padel was invented in 1969. And today, it is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. Especially in Spain, Italy, and Latin America. Already it is played by over 50 million people. Ukraine is trying not to fall behind this trend. You can play padel in 12 regions of Ukraine. And courts are being built in 3 more regions.
In Ukraine, according to our estimates, there are about 3,000 to 3,500 people who play padel, or at least have tried it once. And today, despite the fact that a lot of new courts and new clubs are appearing, this number does not match the number of courts. The number of people who would like to play and want to get involved, and new ones keep appearing, is still less than the number of available courts in Ukraine.
Ukraine even already has a national padel team, which has managed to play at the European Championship. We can't boast of any international victories yet. But the federation says this is just the beginning.
We've only been playing for about 3 to 4 years, which is a relatively short period of time when we competed at the European Championship. We actually looked quite decent and performed well, especially considering we were playing against countries that have been involved in the sport for as long as 10 to 12 years or even longer in some cases.
Vyacheslav, captain of the Ukrainian national team, you can join this team based on the results of ranking competitions. This is one of those tournaments. There are no newcomers here anymore, but they made an exception for us and gave some advice that will be useful to anyone interested in a sport like padel.
Just come play, and the more you play, the better you will get at it.
Yevgeny Hladun, Alexander Alifanov, TSN 1+1.
A train that runs not on tracks but on children's imagination. A large-scale show called Train to Wonders has started in Kyiv. The creators of the show assured that the main idea is to encourage people to believe in their dreams and never give up. At the center of the story are girls from a children's shelter who are searching for a stolen toy bunny. The show invited the star singer Monatik to perform a song about believing in yourself. After the performance in Kyiv, the show will go on tour across Ukraine.
This is a show for the whole family. It's definitely not just a children's show. We have really cool acts, an amazing cast, very bright costumes, incredible graphics, and a completely original soundtrack. And Dima Monatik has also joined us with his soundtrack. Dreaming Doesn't Hurt.
Inspiration and faith in miracles, faith in your dreams, in the fact that no matter the circumstances, the difficulties, maybe some people tell them they won't succeed, but after seeing this show, I think they'll feel a certain inner strength.
That's all for now. I'm wrapping up this episode, but TSN doesn't stop. Like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the most important things. Have a successful and easy work week.